Visual stimulation plays an important role in attraction for many people, and it is often discussed when talking about why certain romantic or intimate moments feel more exciting. Human beings naturally respond to what they see, and the brain processes visual information very quickly. For many men, visual cues can strongly influence feelings of attraction and emotional excitement. When a man can clearly see his partner during an intimate moment, it can increase his sense of connection and focus. The body language, movement, and expressions of a partner all communicate feelings without words. These visual signals can create a stronger emotional and physical response because the brain links what it sees with feelings of desire, affection, and closeness. Instead of simply experiencing the moment physically, the mind becomes engaged through observation, which can make the experience feel more vivid and memorable. Another reason visual stimulation can increase excitement is that it helps the brain stay present in the moment. When someone can see their partner's reactions, such as smiles, expressions of pleasure, or relaxed body language, it provides immediate feedback. This feedback can make a person feel more confident and connected. Confidence often increases emotional warmth and enthusiasm, which can make the overall experience feel more natural and enjoyable. When both partners are aware of each other's reactions, it can create a feeling of shared energy. In psychology, this is sometimes described as a feedback loop. One person's reaction influences the other, which then encourages even more positive responses. Because vision is such a powerful sense, it can amplify this emotional loop and make the interaction feel more engaging. Visual perspective also changes how the brain interprets attraction. When people see their partner from a new or a different angle, the mind becomes curious and attentive. Novelty, or the experience of something slightly different from the usual, often increases excitement because the brain releases small amounts of dopamine, a chemical associated with pleasure and reward. Even small visual changes like posture, movement, or lighting can make a familiar partner appear new and interesting again. This does not mean attraction was absent before. Rather, it shows how the brain enjoys variety and stimulation. When visual novelty combines with emotional closeness, the result can feel particularly powerful because the brain connects excitement with a trusted partner in many relationships. Visual attention also strengthens appreciation. When someone watches their partner closely, they may notice details they had not focused on before. These details might include body language, the rhythm of movement, facial expressions, or subtle signs of comfort and happiness. Paying attention to these details can increase feelings of admiration and affection. Instead of seeing intimacy as a routine action, the moment becomes an opportunity to observe and appreciate the partner as a unique individual. This deeper attention can increase emotional intimacy because it encourages mindfulness, being fully present with another person without distraction. Another important aspect of visual stimulation is imagination. The human brain constantly interprets what it sees and connects it with emotions, memories, and expectations. During intimate moments, visual signals can activate imagination and anticipation. Anticipation often increases excitement because the brain enjoys predicting what might happen next. When someone watches their partner's movements or reactions, the mind may imagine the partner's feelings, thoughts, or desires. This mental engagement makes the experience more layered than simple physical contact. It becomes a combination of physical sensation, emotional interpretation, and visual storytelling happening in real time. Visual connection can also increase feelings of closeness because it reduces emotional distance. When partners can see each other clearly, they often feel more aware of each other's presence. Awareness can create a sense of unity, two people sharing the same moment together. Eye contact, body orientation, and facial expressions are powerful signals of attention and care. Even when direct eye contact is brief, Seeing each other's faces or body language can remind both partners that they are experiencing something together rather than separately. This sense of shared presence can deepen emotional intimacy, which often strengthens physical attraction as well. Communication without words is another reason visual stimulation matters. Humans communicate a great deal through nonverbal signals. A relaxed posture, gentle movement, or a warm expression can communicate comfort, trust, and affection. When a person sees these signals from their partner, it reassures them that the experience is mutual and positive. This reassurance reduces anxiety and allows both people to relax more fully. Relaxation is important for emotional and physical enjoyment because tension in the mind or body can reduce the ability to feel pleasure. When visual cues show that both partners are comfortable and engaged, it creates a safe emotional environment where intimacy can deepen naturally. Cultural influences also shape how people respond to visual attraction. Many forms of media, as movies, art, and photography, emphasize the power of visual beauty and body language. Over time, people learn to associate certain images or perspectives with romance and passion. These cultural ideas can influence expectations and fantasies about intimacy. While every individual is different, the general emphasis on visual beauty in many cultures means that visual experiences often carry strong emotional meaning. When someone encounters a moment that matches or reminds them of these ideas, the brain may respond with increased excitement or curiosity. Another factor is focus and concentration. In everyday life, people are often distracted by responsibilities, technology, or stress. Intimate moments provide a rare opportunity to concentrate completely on another person. Visual stimulation helps maintain this concentration because the eyes naturally follow movement and expression. When attention stays focused on the partner, the mind becomes less distracted by outside worries. This focused attention can make time feel slower and more meaningful, which often enhances emotional connection. Many people describe such moments as feeling more alive or present, partly because their senses are fully engaged. Visual awareness also supports empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and feel another person's emotions. When partners observe each other's expressions and reactions, they gain clues about how the other person feels. These clues help them adjust their behavior to maintain comfort and mutual enjoyment. For example, noticing a smile or relaxed expression might encourage someone to continue what they are doing, while noticing hesitation might encourage them to slow down or communicate. This responsive behavior builds trust because both partners feel that their feelings are respected and understood. From a biological perspective, the brain's visual system is closely connected to emotional centers. When the eyes observe something appealing or meaningful, signals travel quickly to areas of the brain that process pleasure and motivation. This process can trigger the release of neurotransmitters, such as dopamine and oxytocin. Dopamine is associated with excitement and reward, while oxytocin is associated with bonding and trust. Together, these chemicals create a feeling of warmth, closeness, and satisfaction. Because visual input can activate these systems quickly, it often plays a strong role in how people experience attraction. It is also important to remember that visual excitement does not replace emotional connection. In healthy relationships, physical attraction and emotional understanding work together. Visual stimulation may start the feeling of excitement, but trust, communication, and respect sustain it over time. When partners feel emotionally valued, the visual aspects of intimacy often become even more meaningful. The sight of a partner's smile, relaxed posture, or affectionate gestures can carry emotional significance that goes far beyond physical appearance. Another interesting aspect of visual attraction is memory. The brain tends to remember experiences that involve strong sensory input. Because sight is one of the most powerful senses, visual moments often remain vivid in memory. When someone recalls a meaningful romantic experience, they may remember Images such as the way their partner looked, the lighting in the room, or the expressions they saw. These memories can later recreate feelings of warmth and affection. This is one reason why visually engaging moments often feel unforgettable. Finally, visual stimulation can contribute to a sense of admiration and appreciation within a relationship. When partners take the time to look at each other with attention and interest, it sends a message of value. Feeling valued is an important emotional need for many people. When someone believes their partner genuinely appreciates them, it increases confidence and emotional closeness. Over time, this appreciation strengthens the bond between partners and makes intimate experiences feel more meaningful. In summary, visual stimulation can increase excitement because it engages the brain, strengthens emotional connection, and keeps attention focused on the partner. Seeing body language, expressions, and movement creates a powerful form of communication that goes beyond words. It can increase confidence, curiosity, empathy, and emotional bonding. While every individual experiences attraction differently, the visual aspect of intimacy often plays a significant role in how people perceive and remember romantic moments. When combined with trust, respect, and genuine affection, visual connection can transform a simple physical interaction into a deeply engaging and emotionally rich experience. The feeling of control and confidence can play a strong psychological role in how many men experience intimacy. Human relationships are not only physical. They are deeply connected to emotions, identity, and personal self-image. For some men, being able to guide or lead a moment during intimacy can create a sense of responsibility and involvement. This does not mean dominating another person, but rather feeling active, attentive, and engaged in what is happening. When a man feels that he is participating confidently and responding to his partner's needs, it can increase his sense of pride and emotional satisfaction. Confidence often makes a person feel more comfortable in their body and more relaxed in their actions. And this comfort can make the entire experience feel more natural and enjoyable for both partners. Psychologically, confidence is closely linked with self-esteem. When someone feels capable and secure in a romantic moment, their mind becomes less distracted by worry or doubt. Instead of wondering whether they are doing something right or wrong, they can focus on connection, communication, and shared enjoyment. This mental shift can increase excitement because the brain begins associating the experience with positive feelings such as success, connection, and emotional closeness. Confidence can also make body language more relaxed and expressive, which can strengthen the emotional atmosphere between partners. When both people feel comfortable and respected, intimacy often becomes warmer and more meaningful. Another aspect of control is the feeling of being responsible for the pace and energy of the moment. In many relationships, partners naturally take turns leading or guiding the interaction. When a man feels that he is helping shape the moment by paying attention to timing, movement, or emotional signals, he may feel more connected to what is happening. The sense of involvement can increase excitement because the experience feels intentional rather than passive. Being active in the moment also encourages awareness of the partner's reactions. Observing those reactions and responding thoughtfully can make the interaction feel more cooperative and emotionally engaging. Cultural ideas about masculinity can also influence how control and confidence are experienced. In many societies, men grow up hearing messages that they should be strong, protective, and capable. These expectations can shape how they view themselves in romantic situations. When a man feels that he is fulfilling these qualities such as being attentive, confident, and supportive, it can reinforce his identity in a positive way. This does not mean that masculinity must follow one strict pattern. Healthy relationships allow both partners to express leadership, vulnerability, and affection. However, for some men, moments where they feel capable and protective can strengthen their sense of purpose and emotional investment. Confidence and intimacy also reduces anxiety. Many people worry about whether they are satisfying their partner or whether they are behaving in the right way. These worries can create tension that interferes with enjoyment. When a man feels confident, he is more likely to relax and trust the connection with his partner. Relaxation allows the body and mind to respond more naturally. In psychological terms, this state is sometimes called flow, where a person becomes fully engaged in the present moment. During flow, actions feel smooth and instinctive rather than forced or awkward. When intimacy reaches this state, both partners often experience deeper emotional and physical connection. The sense of leadership in a romantic moment can also increase emotional responsibility. When someone feels that they are guiding the experience, they may become more attentive to their partner's comfort and reactions. This attentiveness can strengthen empathy and care. Instead of focusing only on their own feelings, they begin observing whether their partner seems relaxed, happy, or engaged. Responding to these signals creates a sense of teamwork. Intimacy becomes something both partners build together, rather than something one person simply receives. This shared creation of experience can make the moment feel more meaningful and memorable. Another psychological factor is the connection between confidence and attraction. Confidence is often considered an attractive quality in relationships. When a person carries themselves with calm assurance, it can create a feeling of safety and reliability for their partner. This sense of safety is important in intimacy because it allows both people to relax emotionally. When partners feel secure with each other, they can express affection more openly. A confident presence can also communicate care and attentiveness, showing that someone is invested in a relationship and willing to take emotional responsibility for the shared moment. Confidence also influences communication, even when words are not spoken. Body language such as steady posture, relaxed movement, and attentive eye contact can signal calmness and control. These signals can make a partner feel appreciated and desired. When two people exchange these subtle signals, they create a silent conversation that strengthens emotional connection. This nonverbal communication often makes intimacy feel more natural because both partners sense that they are understood without needing constant explanation. In addition, feeling capable in intimate situations can strengthen long-term relationship satisfaction. When a person believes they are contributing positively to their partner's happiness, they often feel more motivated to maintain the relationship. This sense of contribution builds emotional investment. Over time, repeated experiences of mutual satisfaction create positive memories that strengthen the bond between partners. Each shared moment adds another layer of trust and understanding, making future experiences even more comfortable and meaningful. Another interesting, psychological element is the link between confidence and curiosity. When someone feels secure in themselves, they are often more open to learning about their partner's preferences and feelings. Instead of fearing mistakes, they see the relationship as an opportunity to grow and explore together. This openness encourages communication and emotional honesty. Partners who communicate openly about their comfort and desires usually develop stronger trust, which can deepen both emotional and physical intimacy. The feeling of strength and protection can also influence excitement for some men. Many people feel fulfilled when they believe they are supporting and caring for someone they value. In romantic relationships, this protective instinct can translate into attentiveness and emotional support. When a man feels that his presence makes his partner feel safe and valued, it can create a powerful emotional reward. The brain often responds to this sense of purpose by releasing positive chemicals associated with satisfaction and bonding. As a result, the experience feels emotionally meaningful, not just physically enjoyable. However, It is important to remember that healthy intimacy is always mutual. True confidence does not come from control over another person, but from cooperation and respect. Both partners should feel comfortable expressing themselves and guiding the experience at different times. When leadership shifts naturally between partners, it creates balance and equality. This balance ensures that intimacy remains respectful, enjoyable, and emotionally supportive for both people. Emotional connection is also strengthened when confidence allows vulnerability. Although confidence often looks like strength, it also involves the courage to be emotionally open. In intimate moments, showing genuine affection, appreciation, or tenderness can deepen trust. When a man feels secure enough to express warmth and care, it demonstrates emotional maturity. This combination of confidence and vulnerability often makes relationships stronger because both partners feel valued and understood. Memory and emotional impact are also influenced by confidence. Moments where people feel proud, capable, and emotionally connected tend to stay vivid in the mind. These memories become part of how a person understands their relationship. When the memory includes feelings of teamwork, affection, and mutual enjoyment, it strengthens the emotional narrative of the partnership. Over time, these memories can increase attachment because they remind both partners of the positive experiences they've shared. Confidence can also inspire appreciation for the partner. When someone feels comfortable and engaged, they often become more attentive to their partner's unique qualities. They may notice expressions, gestures, and emotional signals that make the moment feel personal and meaningful. This awareness encourages gratitude and admiration, which are important elements of lasting relationships. Feeling grateful for a partner's presence can transform ordinary moments into deeply valued experiences. In the broader context of relationships, confidence and leadership in intimacy reflect a deeper psychological desire for connection and meaning. People often want to feel that their actions matter to someone they care about. When a man believes that his attention, effort, and affection are contributing to a shared experience of happiness, it creates emotional fulfillment. This fulfillment strengthens motivation to nurture the relationship and continue building trust and closeness. In summary, the feeling of control and confidence can increase excitement because it connects with self-esteem, emotional involvement, and the desire to contribute positively to a relationship. When a man feels capable and attentive during intimacy, he often becomes more present, relaxed, and emotionally engaged. Confidence encourages communication, empathy, and mutual respect, which are essential for healthy relationships. Rather than being about dominance, true confidence is about awareness, care, and cooperation between partners. When both people feel valued and comfortable, intimacy becomes a shared experience built on trust, affection, and emotional connection. Physical sensation and comfort play a very important role in how people experience intimacy. Human bodies are sensitive to touch, movement, warmth, and closeness, and these sensations influence emotional and physical responses during romantic moments. When two partners feel physically comfortable with each other, it becomes easier for them to relax and enjoy the experience. Comfort reduces tension in the muscles and allows the body to respond naturally. When the body is relaxed, sensations often feel stronger and more pleasant because the nervous system is not distracted by discomfort or stress. This is why physical comfort is often considered one of the most important foundations of satisfying intimacy. Different body positions can create different physical sensations because the body changes its angle, pressure points, and movement patterns. Even small changes in posture can alter how people feel, touch, and closeness. The human body has many sensitive nerve endings, especially in areas associated with affection and connection. When partners move in ways that align comfortably with their natural body shapes, the contact between their bodies may feel smoother and more natural. This natural alignment can make the experience feel more fluid and rhythmic, which often increases enjoyment for both partners. Another important factor is the concept of rhythm. In many forms of human interactions, such as dancing, walking together, or even conversation, rhythm helps people feel synchronized with each other. Intimacy often follows a similar pattern. When partners find a rhythm that feels comfortable, their movements begin to flow together naturally. This shared rhythm can create a sense of unity, where both people feel connected not only emotionally, but also physically. The body begins to anticipate movement, making the interaction feel more coordinated and relaxed. When rhythm develops naturally, the experience often feels smoother and more enjoyable. Physical closeness also plays a strong role in emotional bonding. When two people are close to each other, their bodies exchange subtle signals such as warmth, breathing patterns, and gentle pressure. These signals can create feelings of safety and connection. The human brain responds to close physical contact by releasing certain hormones, including oxytocin, which is often called the bonding hormone. Oxytocin is associated with trust, affection, and emotional closeness. When partners feel physically comfortable and close, this hormone can strengthen feelings of attachment and warmth between them. The angle of bodies during intimacy can influence how movement and contact are experienced. Certain angles may allow deeper physical closeness or a different type of contact between partners. These variations can make the sensations feel new or interesting compared to familiar experiences. The brain naturally responds to novelty, something slightly different from the usual, with curiosity and attention. When the mind becomes curious, it often releases small amounts of dopamine, a chemical connected to pleasure and motivation. This is one reason why new physical experiences can feel exciting, even when they occur within an already familiar relationship. Comfort and movement is also essential for maintaining a positive experience. If partners feel physically strained or awkward, their attention may shift away from connection and toward discomfort. However, when the body moves naturally and comfortably, attention remains focused on the shared moment. Natural movement allows muscles to relax and breathing to remain steady. This relaxed state encourages deeper emotional connection because both people feel calm and secure. Comfort also makes it easier to maintain eye contact, communicate, or express affection through small gestures. Another aspect of physical sensation is the balance between pressure and gentleness. The human body responds differently to various types of touch. Some touches are light and soothing, while others create stronger sensations. When partners adjust their movements to suit each other's comfort, they create a balanced physical experience. This balance can make intimacy feel more satisfying because it responds to the needs and preferences of both people. Mutual awareness and responsiveness often strengthen trust, which in turn enhances emotional connection. Body awareness also plays an important role in physical comfort. When people become more aware of their partner's reactions, such as breathing changes, relaxation, or subtle movements, they can adjust their actions accordingly. This awareness creates a feedback loop where each partner's response influences the other. As this feedback continues, the experience becomes more synchronized. Many couples find that this natural adjustment leads to a rhythm that feels unique to them. Over time, partners learn what feels comfortable and enjoyable for each other, which strengthens both physical and emotional intimacy. Another reason physical comfort matters is because it encourages openness and vulnerability. Intimacy requires a level of trust where both partners feel safe being close to each other. When the body is comfortable and supported, it becomes easier for people to relax emotionally as well. Emotional relaxation allows partners to express affection more freely through touch, conversation, or gentle gestures. This emotional openness deepens the experience because intimacy becomes more than a physical act. it becomes a moment of genuine connection. Physical sensation is also influenced by the environment around the couple. Factors such as temperature, lighting, and privacy can affect comfort levels. A warm, calm environment helps the body relax and remain focused on the moment. When distractions are minimal, the senses become more attentive to touch, movement, and closeness. This heightened awareness can make sensations feel stronger and more meaningful. The brain processes these sensory signals together, creating a complete experience that combines physical feeling with emotional context. Another important element is breathing. During intimate moments, breathing patterns between partners often begin to synchronize. When people breathe in similar rhythms, their bodies feel more connected and relaxed. Slow, steady breathing can calm the nervous system and reduce stress. As stress decreases, the body becomes more responsive to pleasant sensations. This shared breathing rhythm can also create a subtle sense of harmony, where both partners feel they are moving together in a calm and connected way. Physical closeness can also enhance communication without words. When bodies are close, partners can sense each other's reactions more clearly. A gentle shift in movement, a relaxed posture, or a soft touch can communicate comfort and affection. These nonverbal signals often carry strong emotional meaning because they show attentiveness and care. When partners respond to these signals, it builds trust and mutual understanding. Over time, couples often develop their own silent language of touch and movement. Another interesting aspect of physical sensation is memory. The brain tends to remember experiences that involve strong sensory input, especially touch and closeness. When a romantic moment includes comfortable movement, warmth, and emotional connection, it becomes more memorable. Later, when someone recalls that memory, the brain may recreate some of the same feelings of affection and warmth. This is why physically comfortable experiences often become cherished memories within a relationship. Physical comfort also supports long-term relationship satisfaction. When partners feel comfortable with each other's bodies and movements, intimacy becomes easier and more natural over time. Instead of feeling pressured or uncertain, both people can approach the experience with confidence and relaxation. This sense of ease encourages more open communication about preferences and boundaries. Healthy communication allows couples to adapt and grow together, strengthening their emotional bond. It is also important to remember that every person's body is different. What feels comfortable or enjoyable for one couple may not feel the same for another. This is why communication and mutual respect are essential. Partners who listen to each other and adjust their actions based on comfort create a more positive and supportive environment. When both people feel respected and valued, intimacy becomes a shared exploration rather than a fixed routine. The connection between physical comfort and emotional satisfaction is strong. When the body feels supported and relaxed, the mind is free to focus on feelings of affection and closeness. This emotional focus makes the moment feel deeper and more meaningful. Instead of simply experiencing physical sensation, partners experience a combination of warmth, trust, and appreciation. These emotional layers transform physical contact into a moment of shared intimacy. In summary, physical sensation and comfort are central to how people experience romantic closeness. The angle of bodies, natural movement, and shared rhythm can all influence how sensations are felt. When partners move comfortably and respond to each other's signals, they create a balanced and satisfying experience. Physical closeness encourages emotional bonding through hormones, warmth, and nonverbal communication. Comfort also allows the body and mind to relax, making sensations feel stronger and more enjoyable. When intimacy combines physical ease with emotional connection, it becomes a meaningful expression of trust, affection, and partnership between two people. The sense of novelty and variety is an important psychological factor in human attraction and relationships. Human beings, naturally, respond to new experiences with curiosity and excitement. When something feels different from the usual routine, the brain becomes more attentive and interested. This is because the brain is designed to notice change in the environment. New experiences often trigger the release of dopamine, a chemical in the brain associated with pleasure, motivation, and reward. In romantic relationships, this response to novelty can make intimate moments feel more exciting and emotionally engaging. When couples occasionally explore new ways of expressing affection and closeness, it can refresh the emotional energy between them and strengthen their connection. Over time, any repeated activity can start to feel routine. This is true not only in relationships, but also in daily life. For example, people may enjoy a favorite meal, movie, or hobby. But if they repeat the same thing every day without variation, it can begin to feel less exciting. The brain adapts to familiar patterns and becomes less stimulated by them. In relationships, this natural adaptation can sometimes reduce the sense of excitement if couples do not introduce small changes or new experiences. Variety helps keep the mind engaged and prevents emotional boredom. By exploring new perspectives or approaches to intimacy, partners can keep their connection feeling fresh and alive. Novelty in a relationship does not necessarily mean dramatic or extreme changes. Often, small differences can have a powerful effect. A new setting, a different time of day, or a change in the way partners express affection can all create a sense of freshness. Even subtle shifts in perspective, such as trying a different position, sharing deeper conversation, or spending time together in a new environment, can stimulate curiosity. These small variations encourage partners to see each other in new ways. When the brain perceives something slightly different, it pays closer attention, and that attention can increase feelings of excitement and attraction. Another reason, novelty strengthens attraction, is because it encourages exploration. Healthy relationships often grow through shared discovery. When couples try new experiences together, they learn more about each other's preferences, comfort levels, and emotional responses. This learning process builds understanding and trust. Instead of assuming they already know everything about each other, partners remain curious and open. Curiosity is a powerful ingredient in long-term relationships because it keeps both people interested in discovering new aspects of their partner's personality and desires. Variety can also create memorable experiences. The human brain tends to remember events that stand out from routine. When something feels different or surprising, it becomes easier to recall later. In relationships, these memorable moments often become positive memories that strengthen emotional bonds. Couples may look back on such moments with affection, laughter, or nostalgia. These shared memories help reinforce the feeling that the relationship is meaningful and dynamic, rather than predictable and repetitive. The idea of perspective is also important when discussing novelty. Seeing a partner from a new physical or emotional perspective can renew appreciation and attraction. People sometimes become accustomed to familiar patterns and stop noticing details that once felt exciting. A change in perspective can bring those details back into focus. Partners may notice body language, expressions, or emotional reactions that feel new again. This renewed awareness can increase admiration and interest, reminding both people of the qualities that first attracted them to each other. Novelty also activates creativity in relationships. When couples allow themselves to explore new ways of connecting, they often become more imaginative in how they express affection and care. This creativity might appear through playful communication, romantic gestures, or shared activities that break from routine. Creativity brings energy into the relationship because it encourages partners to actively participate in building meaningful experiences together. Instead of simply repeating familiar habits, they collaborate to create moments that feel unique and special. Another psychological benefit of variety is that it encourages mindfulness. When something is new, people tend to pay closer attention. This focused attention helps individuals stay present in the moment. In relationships, being present is essential for emotional intimacy. When partners are fully attentive to each other, listening carefully, observing reactions, and responding with care, the experience becomes more meaningful. Novelty can naturally draw people into this attentive state, because their minds are curious about what is happening. Variety also supports emotional balance in long-term relationships. While routine can provide comfort and stability, too much routine can sometimes reduce excitement. On the other hand, constant unpredictability can create stress. Healthy relationships usually include a balance between stability and novelty. Stability provides trust and security, while novelty adds excitement and growth. When couples combine these elements, they create a relationship that feels both safe and stimulating. Another interesting aspect of novelty is how it affects emotional bonding. When partners experience something new together, their brains often link that experience with the presence of the other person. This shared association strengthens emotional attachment. For example, if a couple tries a new activity together and enjoys it, the positive feelings become connected with their partner's presence. Over time, these repeated positive associations deepen affection and appreciation within the relationship. Curiosity also plays a role in sustaining romantic attraction. Curiosity keeps people interested in learning about their partner's thoughts, feelings, and experiences. When partners maintain curiosity about each other, the relationship feels more dynamic. Variety encourages this curiosity by introducing new situations where partners can observe and understand each other differently. Instead of feeling that everything is predictable, they feel that there is always more to discover. Another benefit of novelty is that it can strengthen communication. When couples try new experiences together, they often discuss what they enjoy, what feels comfortable, and what they might want to try in the future. These conversations improve openness and trust. Honest communication allows both partners to express their needs and preferences without fear of judgment. When communication is strong, intimacy becomes healthier and more respectful because both people feel heard and valued. Novelty can also increase emotional excitement because it breaks the automatic patterns of everyday life. In routine situations, people sometimes operate on autopilot, doing things without much thought. New experiences interrupt this autopilot mode and bring awareness back to the present moment. This renewed awareness can make interactions feel more vibrant and emotionally engaging. When couples share these moments of renewed attention, they often feel closer to each other. Another factor related to novelty is playfulness. Trying something new together often creates a playful atmosphere. Playfulness encourages laughter, relaxation, and spontaneity. When partners feel comfortable being playful with each other, their relationship often becomes warmer and more joyful. Playfulness reduces pressure and reminds both people that intimacy can include fun and lightheartedness, not just seriousness. Variety also helps partners adapt to each other's evolving needs. Over time, people grow and change. Their preferences, interests, and emotional needs may shift as well. Exploring new experiences together allows couples to adapt to these changes naturally. Instead of feeling stuck in old habits, they remain flexible and responsive to each other's development. This adaptability helps relationships stay strong over long periods. Emotional excitement created by novelty can also increase appreciation. When something feels new or different, people often notice qualities they might have overlooked before. This renewed attention can deepen admiration for a partner's personality, appearance, or energy. Appreciation strengthens relationships because it reminds partners of the value they bring to each other's lives. It is important to remember that novelty should always be guided by comfort, respect, and mutual agreement. Healthy exploration. In a relationship means both partners feel safe and willing to participate. When both people feel respected and included in decisions, novelty becomes a positive experience rather than a source of pressure. Mutual respect ensures that variety enhances the relationship rather than creating misunderstandings. In the long term, the combination of novelty and familiarity creates a balanced and fulfilling relationship. Familiarity builds trust and emotional security, while novelty adds excitement and curiosity. When couples maintain this balance, they often feel both comfortable and inspired by their relationship. Each partner knows they are safe with the other, but they also feel that the relationship continues to grow and evolve. In summary, the sense of novelty and variety can strengthen attraction because the human brain naturally responds to new experiences with curiosity and excitement. Small changes in perspective, activities, or expressions of affection can refresh emotional energy and prevent relationships from feeling routine. Variety encourages exploration, creativity, communication, and shared discovery between partners. These experiences create memorable moments that deepen emotional bonds and maintain passion over time. When combined with trust, respect, and emotional understanding, novelty becomes a healthy way for couples to keep their relationship vibrant, meaningful, and full of curiosity. Psychological imagination plays a powerful role in human attraction and intimacy. The human mind does not respond only to physical sensations. It also responds strongly to thoughts, emotions, memories, and imagination. When people experience romantic closeness, their brain begins to interpret what is happening in ways that go beyond the physical moment. This interpretation can create feelings of excitement, curiosity, and emotional intensity. For many individuals, the mind becomes an important part of attraction because it adds meaning and emotional depth to the experience. When imagination becomes active during intimate moments, the experience can feel richer and more memorable because the brain is combining physical sensation with emotional storytelling. Imagination is a natural part of human psychology. People constantly imagine possibilities, memories, and emotional scenarios in their minds. In relationships, imagination often shapes how individuals perceive romance and connection. For example, someone might imagine how much their partner cares about them, how special the moment feels, or how meaningful the relationship is becoming. These mental images and ideas influence emotions in powerful ways. When the brain interprets a moment as passionate or emotionally significant, it releases chemicals that increase excitement and pleasure. This means that what a person thinks and imagines during intimacy can strongly affect how they experience it. Fantasy is closely connected to imagination. In psychology, fantasy simply refers to the mind creating images, ideas, or scenarios that enhance emotional experience. Many people naturally imagine romantic situations that feel exciting or meaningful to them. These fantasies do not replace reality. Instead, they add another layer of emotional engagement. When someone feels close to a partner and their imagination becomes active, the brain may connect the experience with feelings of adventure, passion, or deep affection. These imagined meanings can increase the emotional intensity of the moment. Another reason imagination influences attraction is because the brain enjoys storytelling. Humans naturally understand the world through stories. In relationships, people often create personal stories about their connection with a partner, how they met, why they care for each other, and what their future might look like together. During intimate moments, the brain may interpret the experience as part of this ongoing story. When the mind sees a moment as passionate, meaningful, or emotionally powerful, it enhances the sense of excitement and importance. The connection between imagination and emotion is supported by how the brain works. The same areas of the brain that process real experiences are often active when people imagine something vividly. This means that imagining romance, closeness, or passion can produce emotional responses similar to actually experiencing those feelings. Because of this, imagination can intensify attraction by making the moment feel more vivid and emotionally significant. When the brain blends imagination with real sensations, the experience can feel deeper and more memorable. Imagination also encourages anticipation. Anticipation is a feeling of expecting something enjoyable or meaningful to happen. The brain often becomes excited not only by what is happening now, but also by what it predicts might happen next. When someone imagines future moments of closeness or emotional connection, their brain releases dopamine, the chemical associated with motivation and pleasure. This anticipation can make intimate moments feel more exciting because the mind is actively engaged in predicting and enjoying the unfolding experience. Another psychological benefit of imagination is that it allows people to express creativity within their relationships. Creativity is not limited to art or music. It also appears in how people communicate affection and connection. When imagination is involved, partners may express emotions in unique ways, such as through playful gestures, romantic ideas, or thoughtful expressions of care. This creativity adds depth to the relationship because it shows that each partner is emotionally invested in making the connection meaningful. Imagination can also strengthen emotional bonding. When people imagine their partner as someone special or important in their life, those thoughts reinforce feelings of attachment. The brain begins to associate the partner with positive emotions such as warmth, excitement, and affection. Over time, these positive associations deepen the emotional bond between partners. The relationship becomes not only a physical connection, but also a mental and emotional partnership. Another interesting aspect of imagination is how it influences perception. The mind does not simply observe reality. It interprets it based on feelings and expectations. If someone imagines a moment as romantic or passionate, they may perceive small details such as tone of voice, body language, or eye contacts more meaningful. These interpretations can increase emotional intensity because the brain believes the moment is special or significant. Imagination also helps people escape everyday stress and responsibilities for a short time. Modern life often involves work, pressure, technology, distractions, and daily concerns. When couples share intimate or romantic moments, imagination can help them focus on each other instead of external worries. By mentally entering a space of affection and closeness, partners create a temporary emotional world where they can simply enjoy being together. This shared mental space strengthens their sense of partnership and unity. Another important element is emotional symbolism. Sometimes the mind attaches symbolic meaning to actions or experiences. For example, a romantic moment might symbolize trust, commitment, or affection. When imagination interprets intimacy through these symbolic meanings, the experience becomes emotionally richer. Instead of being seen as a simple action, it becomes part of a deeper expression of connection and care. Memory is also influenced by imagination. The brain tends to remember experiences more vividly when they involve strong emotions or meaningful interpretations. When someone imagines a moment as passionate or special, that interpretation helps the brain store the memory more clearly. Later, when the person recalls the experience, the same emotional feelings may return. This is one reason why certain romantic memories remain powerful even years later. Imagination also allows individuals to connect with their personal desires and emotional needs. Every person has unique ideas about what romance and intimacy mean to them. Through imagination, people explore these ideas internally and understand what makes them feel valued and connected. When partners communicate openly about their feelings and expectations, their imaginations can align in ways that strengthen their relationship. Another benefit of imagination is that it encourages curiosity. Curiosity keeps relationships dynamic and interesting because it motivates partners to continue learning about each other. When people imagine new ways of expressing affection or building connection, they remain mentally engaged in their relationship. This engagement prevents the relationship from feeling routine or predictable. Imagination also plays a role in empathy. When someone imagines how their partner might be feeling, they become more sensitive to that partner's emotions. This ability to imagine another person's perspective strengthens compassion and understanding. Empathy is essential for healthy relationships because it helps partners support each other emotionally and respond to each other's needs. It is important to remember that imagination works best when combined with trust and communication. Healthy relationships allow both partners to express their feelings openly and respect each other's comfort levels. When imagination is shared in a supportive environment, it becomes a positive force that deepens emotional connection rather than creating misunderstanding. The combination of imagination and physical closeness can create a powerful emotional experience. Physical sensations provide the immediate feeling of connection, while imagination adds meaning and emotional depth. When these two elements work together, intimacy becomes more than just a physical act. It becomes a moment of shared emotional expression. Over time, these imaginative experiences contribute to the overall story of the relationship. Couples build a collection of memories, feelings, and shared meanings that define their connection. Each meaningful moment becomes part of the emotional foundation of the relationship. This foundation strengthens commitment and attachment because both partners feel that their experiences together are valuable and unique. In summary, psychological imagination and fantasy play a significant role in attraction and intimacy because the human mind naturally interprets experiences through thoughts, emotions, and stories. Imagination can increase excitement by adding emotional meaning to physical closeness. It encourages anticipation, creativity, empathy, and curiosity within relationships. When physical experiences combine with mental engagement, the brain creates a richer and more memorable emotional response. This combination of body and mind allows romantic moments to feel deeper, more passionate, and more meaningful for both partners. Emotional distance can sometimes create a different kind of focus during intimate moments. In many romantic situations, partners are face-to-face, constantly reading each other's facial expressions, eye contact, and emotional signals. These forms of communication are powerful and meaningful because they allow partners to feel deeply connected and understood. However, when the interaction changes slightly and there is less direct eye contact, the experience can feel different in a psychological way. Instead of focusing heavily on visual emotional cues, the mind may shift its attention toward other senses such as touch, movement, breathing, and body warmth. This shift in attention can make physical sensations feel more noticeable and intense, because the brain is concentrating more on those signals. Human attention is limited, meaning the brain can only focus deeply on a few things at a time. When people are face-to-face, a large part of their attention goes toward interpreting expressions and emotional reactions. They might be thinking about how their partner feels, what their expressions mean, or how they themselves appear in the moment. These thoughts are natural and often strengthen emotional bonding. However, they also occupy mental space. When direct visual communication becomes less central, the brain may relax some of that social monitoring. As a result, attention can shift toward the physical side of the experience, such as the rhythm of movement, the feeling of closeness, and the natural responses of the body. This shift does not mean emotional connection disappears. Instead, it changes form. Emotional communication can still occur through touch, posture, and subtle movements. The warmth of another person's body, the rhythm of breathing, or a gentle change in movement can communicate comfort and affection. Without words, many forms of human connection rely on these nonverbal signals. In fact, some psychologists believe that touch is one of the most direct ways people communicate care and reassurance. When attention moves away from facial expressions and toward physical sensation, these signals may become easier to notice. Another reason this balance between closeness and distance can feel interesting is because it changes the emotional atmosphere of the moment. Face-to-face interactions often involve a strong exchange of emotional signals. Partners may smile, laugh, or speak to each other, creating a very expressive environment. When that direct exchange becomes quieter, the atmosphere may feel calmer and more focused. Some people experience this quietness as a deeper, more concentrated form of connection. Instead of constant conversation or visual feedback, the moment becomes more about shared presence and sensation. The human brain also responds strongly to contrast. When something is different from what we normally experience, it becomes more noticeable. If a couple usually interacts in ways that involve frequent eye contact and verbal communication, a quieter form of interaction may feel refreshing or new. This difference can increase curiosity and awareness. The brain begins to pay closer attention to details that might normally go unnoticed, such as subtle shifts in movement or changes in breathing. This heightened awareness can make the experience feel more vivid. Focus on sensation is closely related to the idea of mindfulness. Mindfulness means being fully present in the moment without distraction. When people are mindful, they notice physical feelings, emotions, and surroundings more clearly. A quieter interaction with fewer visual distractions can naturally encourage this state of awareness. The mind becomes less concerned with external interpretation and more aware of the immediate experience. This increased awareness can make physical sensations feel stronger and more meaningful. Another psychological factor is that reduced visual interaction may decrease self-consciousness for some individuals. When people feel constantly observed, they may become aware of how they look, how they move, or how they are being perceived. This self-awareness is normal, but it can sometimes create tension. When direct observation becomes less central, some individuals feel more relaxed and natural. This relaxation allows the body to move more freely and respond more comfortably to physical closeness. Trust also plays a significant role in this type of interaction. When partners feel safe with each other, they do not need constant visual reassurance to know that the connection is positive. The relationship already contains trust and understanding. Because of this trust, both people can feel comfortable experiencing the moment in a quieter way. This comfort allows attention to shift naturally towards sensation and shared presence rather than constant. Emotional checking. Touch becomes especially important in moments where visual communication is reduced. Human skin contains thousands of nerve endings that respond to pressure, warmth, and gentle movement. These signals travel quickly through the nervous system and reach parts of the brain that process emotion and pleasure. When attention is focused on these signals, the brain may interpret them more strongly. This is why touch can feel particularly meaningful in moments where the mind is calm and attentive. Breathing patterns can also influence how sensations are experienced. When partners are close to each other, their breathing may gradually become synchronized. This synchronization creates a subtle sense of harmony between the two bodies. Slow, steady breathing can relax the nervous system and increase awareness of physical sensations. In this relaxed state, the body becomes more receptive to touch and closeness. Another interesting aspect of emotional distance is that it can create a sense of mystery. Humans are naturally curious about what they cannot fully see or interpret. When communication becomes quieter and less visually expressive, the mind may fill the gaps with imagination and curiosity. This does not reduce the emotional connection. Instead, it can create a slightly different emotional tone, one that feels more private, focused, and introspective. The balance between closeness and distance also reflects an important principle in relationships. People often appreciate both connection and individuality. Too much distance can weaken emotional bonds, but a small amount of space can sometimes strengthen appreciation. In intimate moments, this small shift in perspective may remind partners that they are sharing an experience while still maintaining their own personal awareness and sensations. This psychological balance can also increase concentration on rhythm and movement. When visual signals are not the main focus, partners may become more aware of the natural flow of movement between them. Rhythm often develops naturally through repeated motion and shared breathing. When both people become aware of this rhythm, it can create a feeling of coordination and harmony. This harmony can make the experience feel smoother and more connected. Emotional subtlety is another important element. In quieter interactions, emotions may be expressed through small gestures rather than obvious signals. A gentle touch, a shift in posture, or a slight pause in movement can communicate care and attention. These subtle expressions can feel very personal because they are often noticed only by the partner who is present in the moment. Over time, couples often develop their own patterns of communication during intimacy. These patterns include both verbal and nonverbal signals that help them understand each other's comfort and preferences. When emotional distance is present, in a balanced way, these established patterns allow partners to remain connected even without constant visual interaction. Their familiarity with each other provides reassurance that the connection remains strong. Memory also plays a role in how these experiences are interpreted. The brain tends to remember moments that involve strong sensory awareness. When physical sensation becomes the main focus, those sensations may become more vivid in memory. Later, when the person recalls the moment, the memory may include strong feelings of closeness and warmth. It is important to remember that people experience intimacy in many different ways. Some individuals prefer constant eye contact and emotional expression, while others enjoy moments that feel quieter and more focused on sensation. Healthy relationships often include a mixture of both styles. Variety allows partners to experience different forms of connection and discover what feels most comfortable for them. Communication remains essential regardless of the style of interaction. Partners who talk openly about their feelings and preferences create a safe environment where both people feel respected. When communication is strong, couples can explore different ways of connecting while ensuring that both partners remain comfortable and valued. Ultimately, the idea of emotional distance in this context does not mean emotional separation. Instead, it refers to a temporary shift in how attention is directed during a shared moment. The emotional bond between partners remains present, but the focus may move toward physical sensation, rhythm, and quiet awareness. In summary, a balance between closeness and distance can influence how people experience sensation and connection. When direct visual interaction becomes less central, the brain may focus more strongly on touch, movement, and physical warmth. This shift can increase awareness of sensation and encourage a calm, mindful state of attention. Emotional communication continues through subtle signals such as touch and breathing, while trust and familiarity maintain the bond between partners. For some individuals, this quieter style of interaction creates a unique form of intimacy that feels focused, personal, and deeply engaging.